Hello and welcome to the fifth and final episode of Meeting with the Mentors, a podcast series of me, Kaya Daniels, interviewing some local small businesses to get an inside look of what it is like to own a small business. In today's episode, we are interviewing Emily from Quite Fetching. Thanks for listening. So before we start, I'm just going to have you introduce yourself, so like your name, the business name, what you do.
So I am Emily Ascolillo. I am the owner of Quite Fetching Barkery and Pet Boutique here in Grafton, Mass. And we bake gourmet dog cookies. We also host events and hopefully have created a place where dog parents can come and gather and shop and talk all things dog. We offer off-leash shopping, which not very many places do. So the dogs come in, they run around, and we have a fantastic time.
Yeah. So the first question was, how did you get your business started, and what were some steps that you had to take that others may not be aware of?
So I started my business on a whim. I was making dog cookies for a fundraiser, and one thing led to another that night, and I just said, you know what, I think I'm going to quit my job, and I think I'm going to do this now. So that's what I did. The steps I had to take, which other people might not know, is I had to research the legalities about food industry and what it took to what it took to label and get your treats inspected and approved by the state of Massachusetts. I think a lot of people think you can just make dog cakes and cookies and sell them. And
you need a license for
you
that.
Need a license. Yeah.
So what was the hardest part about owning a business, and were there any factors that surprised you while doing this?
So I guess that's the answer is the same for both. The amount of time you work. You can't even imagine how you just work all the time.
Yeah.
It's hard because even when you are not working, someone is messaging you, someone wants something. So you might be closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but people don't check your hours. People don't go to the website. They want something, so they'll call you, they'll message you, they'll email you, they'll Instagram you, they'll Facebook you. So that's been the hardest part of all of it is setting good boundaries to make sure that you have time off, but also continue to give a wonderful customer experience.
Mm-hmm. So how did COVID affect your business, and how were you able to overcome it?
Oh, gosh.
It's basic.
Yeah. So COVID, we had to close.
Yeah.
It was interesting for me and my business because technically I sell food for dogs, but I don't really sell food for dogs. Right? Like, you can't come in and buy a 20-pound bag of dog food.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we offered curbside pickup. It was so much work because we're not set up to do that. We don't bake on site. However, it had wonderful benefits because the community of people that came out every week were wonderful. It was the highlight of my week. It was the hardest day of the week, but it was the best day of the week. Obviously, we couldn't do the sales, right? We were closed for 14 weeks, and we had to do a lot of rearranging. We had to move things around to accommodate for social distancing. We had to put a plan in place if employees got sick. We lost a lot of employees. COVID has affected us tremendously with just gaining a workforce back. So those are some of the challenges. But it has also allowed us to continue to reinvent. And I think that's what entrepreneurs do. I think that's what small businesses, people who go into business who are passionate about what they're doing, not just following a business plan, find ways to continue to reinvent. And that's what we've had to do.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think makes your business successful?
The people. The people.
And the dogs.
Yeah. Well, so, yeah, the dogs. But the people are good people. The people, not that people aren't good in other businesses, right? But I hope, and I feel as though people would agree with me, we have created a place where people can come and live in the moment like the dogs do. So if you've had a really terrible, stressful day, you might go into the grocery store and become more frustrated, right? Like you're in line, and when you come in here, we clap our hands and we play and we get cookies and we play with toys and we live in the moment like they do. Dogs don't know if they're coming to the barkery or they're going to the vet. They're just equally as excited when they get in the car, right? And so we try to create a place where you can just leave all the stress of your capstone project or your studies or your finals or your work, whatever it is that's stressing you out there, stays out there. When you walk in here, I hope that people would agree that you come into a place and you just become a happier person. And so the people that come in here are buying treats for their dogs, right? We're buying toys that are called farties instead of smarties, right? Like fun things like that. So I would like to think that what makes my business successful is the community of people that we have built our foundation on.
I like that. So what are some ways that you've gotten your business well known amongst people?
A lot of hard work. Just a lot of hard work. When I started 4.5 years ago, people weren't really doing this. I don't know if a ton of people are doing it now, but there's a whole lot more people selling dog treats today than there were 4.5 years ago. And I had to really hustle on Instagram. I had to really post a ton of stuff on Facebook and engage people and use social media to my advantage. Where I feel like people who came in after me had an advantage of other businesses and where they could go in and follow those followers, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I didn't have that luxury of seeing other potential marketing opportunities through social media. I had to build my own. Was that the question? I'm sorry.
No, that was good, yeah. I was trying to get at like marketing and social media and all
Yeah,
that.
so we gave a lot of stuff away. I literally drove to the Chamber of Commerce meetings. I introduced myself. I was a guest at little business marketing things. We did the farmers market. We just hustled, and in our community, like we went down to other businesses and I'm like, hi, I'm Emily, I'm starting a dog, here are some cookies, do you have a dog, here's your cookies. So I hustled. Was that the question? What was the question?
The question was what are some ways to get your business known by other people?
Oh yeah,
You got it.
That's what I did. Yeah.
So have you seen an increase in the number of businesses being started due to the internet and social media?
Yes. Specifically, the pet industry during the pandemic has grown exponentially. So many people got dogs, which is wonderful. It's great. But yeah, I mean, it might just be my own little bubble of who I follow. You know, right? Like if I did makeup, I'd probably only follow Sephora and Khloe Kardashian and all of those influencers for makeup. So I'm not sure if it's just my own bubble that has gotten bigger of recognizing the pet industry. But absolutely, it's grown. I've grown. I have a little over 8,000 followers now. And boy, that did not happen overnight. I think pre-pandemic we were maybe at 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge improvement.
Huge, yeah.
Is there any advice that you would like to give those starting their own business or thinking of starting their own business?
Choose something that you are passionate about and that you love to do, because you are going to have to get up and do this every day, and you're going to be exhausted, and you're going to have doubts, and you're going to cry a lot. But if you're doing what you love and you're doing it with a genuine heart, you will succeed. It doesn't matter what you do. If you do it with your whole heart, with an honest intention, it will come back to you threefold. And it won't feel like work, you know?
Yeah. I just wanted to say how I love how creative like this whole business idea is. I think you might have already answered this, but how important do you feel that interaction with your customers and their pets has been to the success?
It's all of it.
Yeah.
It's all of it. It's every single piece of it. Yeah. We try to incorporate that in our cakes too. So that's a small business too, right? We're not a Petco. You're not just going to go and buy a cake that has been processed and shipped from California, right? We literally make these cakes every morning or every night. Nobody knows this actually. On the bottom of every cake, so we put our cakes on a cake board. And before I put that cake down, I have to put a little yogurt down to stick it to the, I put a heart.
Aww.
And I put it on there because each cake is unique to that dog, whether they're turning 15 or we're making, I don't know if you got to see some of the cakes we've made, but
Yeah, I did.
one of the things is we specialize in those custom cakes. So we'll do a replica of the dog's favorite toy. Or we'll, like we're doing, oh my gosh, we're doing a stick for Sir Henry Archibald. He came in, I'm so excited about this. He came in, if you're on TikTok, check out his thing. So he came in to see Santa. He was the happiest dog in the world. Mm-hmm. She made a TikTok for us. I saw the TikTok, it was adorable. I checked out his other TikToks, and he just loves big sticks. Mm-hmm. Loves giant sticks. Tries to get him into the door, tries to get him into the car, like he never wants. So I called her, and to thank her for, well, I messaged her, and to thank her for that wonderful video she did, I'm like, I'd be honored if I could make Henry a stick cake. Aww. So this Saturday, he'll be in to pick up his cake. We can't do it as big as we wanted to, because at the end of the day, it's dog cake, and so there's no sugar or anything like that. So it would take an enormous amount of work to make it like super big. But so that's what we do. We personalize things. Everything is. Honestly, it's everything we do is made with a smile on our face and with the dog's day in mind.
No, I'm just coming up with this one just now, but
yeah.
Like, did you have prior baking experience, and like
no.
how have you had to like adjust recipes to make them dog friendly?
No, I had never baked a thing in my life, with the exception of maybe some Betty Crocker stuff from a box. You know what I mean? So as a dog mom, though, I started this sort of with a knowledge base, right? We don't want to give them sugar. We don't want to give them chocolate. We don't want to give them butter, right? High-fat things. We don't want them to have that. So I did a little bit of research, but really it's simple ingredients, right? We make sure that the ingredients are simple, that they're safe, and then we create from there.
So I saw that, I think it's your husband, he dresses up as a squirrel.
That's him, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So my girl Mabel, so how that came about, my girl Mabel was turning 3. And the theme, we had a big party for her, and the theme was Go Nuts. Mabel's turning 3. And we're like, well, it's a nut theme. We need a squirrel, right? Because dogs love squirrels, right? So we bought this crazy, silly outfit for pictures that day. Then the pandemic hit, and we were like, what are we going to do? Are we going to have to deliver? Like, maybe we could offer delivery. And then I'm like, oh my God, we can offer squirrel delivery, right? Who doesn't want a giant squirrel? Like, that'll brighten anybody's day. So that's how that got started. And I tell you, we have so much fun with those deliveries. It doesn't matter, like, again, like when you walk, it doesn't matter what has gone on, right? You could have the worst day ever. A giant squirrel knocks on your door with a cake for your dog, and you're in a better mood. Right? So that's how that came about. We do Get Well Soon. We do apology cakes for the squirrels. We just did a thank you. A client has we do them for all sorts of occasions, and they're tons of fun. So that's how the squirrel came about. Yeah, we love the squirrel.
Yeah. I've seen like pictures and all that on the Instagram. I think it's so funny.
Thank you. Yeah, we do too. And that kind of ties it in, right? Like that's what our business is. It's about living in the moment, not taking life too seriously. We're all here for just such a short time. We need to make the most of it, you know? And that's what the dogs do, right? Yeah. So we just need to laugh a little more, bark more. What is it? Bark less, wag more, right? Isn't that how the saying goes?
I love that you sell items made by vendors in the boutique. I saw that on the website.
Yep. So we have some small businesses. We have like a pottery lady. She's local to Grafton. She makes little dishes. We support so Polka Dog Bakery. They are a bakery here in Boston. We Preppy Puppy, they are in Rentham, but also too we don't actually have as many as we used to, just because with the pandemic, I'm just looking around to see, with the pandemic, a lot of people started making their own things, and they want to sell at a full retail price, where we obviously buy in bulk at a discounted price. So it's been a little challenging for that. However, the people that we buy from are typically other small businesses now that do offer a wholesale. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how have you been able to form those partnerships, and how does like the dynamic work?
Social media really has helped. Community events, right? So although I'm still looking for someone to make a dress for my 110-pound bulldog or bloodhound. No one can seem to sew that big. But that's how we make the connections. People would come in. We used to have Yappy Hour every Friday, and we'd have a special guest. And that is how we come out. We had a lot of pet artists, right? So they would come in and they would do special prints or portraits for pets. And so that's how we sort of engage the younger entrepreneurs or people who are maybe not at their own business, but an artisan of sorts that want to promote and sell their stuff.
Awesome. Those were all the questions I had, but do you mind if I like walk around and record?
Please do. Yes.
It's
And
beautiful.
feel free to TikTok away.